We're obviously better on the mound this past weekend. I thought, not a whole lot different other than that. I thought we threw more strikes, particularly the games 2 and 3, and thought we did kind of continue what we did over the weekend in San Diego offensively. We scored in a lot of innings, had a lot of good at-bats, and for the most part, played pretty good defense.
How telling is that of this group to be able to just put San Diego in every rear mirror and perform so well?
Yeah, it's easier said than done. It was what we thought we might have with this group, that they were able to not take good or bad to the next day. And we had a really good week of, there's only a couple of days of practice after the trip out west, but very focused, determined, and I just feel like that we were ready to just move on. And you have to have a little bit of maturity to you, of course. You got to have an older group, potentially, that's been through some things, and it was good to see. It's a sign of a team that's got some heart and some mental toughness.
Why was the bullpen able to improve so drastically like they were?
Just probably some of the opening weekend jitters out of the way. Probably just from the standpoint of guys that were in the game were maybe more experienced this time around. I mean, Brockett's thrown out of the pen before. Shea was better on Friday. And Garza, had a rough first weekend, but he's a veteran, so he kind of knows what to expect. So we didn't have to throw a lot of guys. I thought the starters did a nice job of kind of setting the tone that way, and it was good to see Perry get in there and get that save on Friday as well.
So there's no big tactical adjustments you guys made?
Yeah, just getting guys comfortable and getting in those situations out of the bullpen. And there also wasn't as much traffic on the bases this time around too, to put guys in some tougher situations than we would have liked.
Is Garza's role just kind of whatever's needed at this point?
Right now, yeah, and it could change. I mean, he's a guy that's kind of what we brought him here to do. Right now, it's hard to imagine waiting until Sunday to pitch him, again. So if he's ready and available, the first 2 games we'll use him. And he's a guy that could start, and that's not off the table either, but he's pretty valuable, I think, out of the bullpen. And if we can get some things ironed out, with Clark's delivery a little bit, I think that'll help. But Garza's just a valuable guy. I mean, he's a strike thrower. He's going to make you beat him. So.
Well, what about Karen? Is he just more comfortable this year,
yeah.
or what have you seen that has allowed him to have a pretty good impact here? Really?
Yeah, I mean, you could see it when he returned from summer ball. He just kind of had a different confidence to him. I mean, he went off and had an awesome summer. He was our everyday catcher for the most part at the end of the year last year. I think he took some confidence from that. Just being a sophomore versus being a 18-year-old kid, and again, remember those freshmen last year had kind of a weird high school where the COVID stuff and guys were homesick, and he's just a lot more comfortable this year. Not a whole lot's changed other than that. It's amazing what confidence can do for a guy.
It's a characteristic that tends to be true of SEC teams. I mean, you've been in the league a number of years too.
Physicality, I would say, is probably the number one thing that jumps off the page. Is just whether it be the pitchers or the position players, just the physical nature of it. I mean, they look like grown men. A lot of those lineups and a lot of the pitchers, the big right-handers are going to be 6'4", 6'5". You don't see a lot of guys that don't look the part. I think that it kind of starts there.
What's the value of a measuring stick sort of weekend like this one?
I don't really put too much stock into it, to be honest with you. I think it's a great opportunity for our players to play in an environment where it should be kind of a regional type feel. I just want us to play well. I just want us to continue to get better. And that sounds a little boring, but that's truthfully where we need to be. That's where we've got to be as a program, with Husker baseball. I mean, we need to feel like we're improving day to day, and this weekend to me is just another weekend for us to go and just keep getting better. I mean, obviously you want to go 3-0, but you can still keep getting better even if you don't win every game.
three teams in 3 days. Do you use guys out of the bullpen differently that way, or than you would in a normal series?
I think it potentially, depending on matchups, right, left-handed teams and that kind of stuff. But I still think you'll probably see best on best. Like the guys we feel best about will throw earlier in the weekend, and hopefully our starters can get us off to a good start, and our offense can continue to build, because you build some depth in the bullpen by scoring runs and giving guys opportunities.
Same rotation as the previous two.
It'll be the same rotation. Yep.
How you talked a lot during the preseason about the chemistry, and there was always sort of that caveat of haven't faced the adversity yet. Now that you guys have, how do you think those bonds were tested?
Yeah, I think it speaks to the chemistry for sure. Like I said, it's not easy to come back from a disappointment after the build-up and the excitement and everybody kind of in the circle feeling that we've got a good team, and not having anything to show for it on the scoreboard after the first weekend. It could be tough to handle, and it was in the moment. But I think that chemistry and the desire to be great, it's there with this group, and they care. They want to work hard. They're very consistent, and yeah, I think that we've seen some adversity. We've seen our guys come back from that already, and that's a true testament to character and makeup and the team aspect that this group has.
Do you have any update on CJ Hood here as we get into March?
He's still in the rehab phase, just playing catch, feeling good for now, but nothing more than that.
Will, after this week and you're here, you get the sense that it's right around the corner. You guys ready to play in front of your fans?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully the sun will stay out and it'll stay warm. But yeah, we're excited, to be back here and play a couple midweek games. First time for a lot of guys to play midweek games, and like I said, hopefully the weather cooperates.
I feel like you got good pitching depth to help you play a 5-game week.
Yeah, I mean we'll see how the depth looks after the weekend. See who we have left. But yeah, I do. I feel like we've got some guys that if we don't use them on the weekend, they can step in and start. We got several guys stretched out enough to at least give us 3 or 4 inning start.
What do you remember about US Bank Stadium 2 years ago, just kind of the quirkiness of the setup that might be helpful?
Yeah, I remember the turf is slow. The turf plays really slow. It's kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge of turf. The football line's kind of out there, threw you off a little bit, the depth of perception at first. I don't really have any way to know if it's the same way as it was then or if it's any different. So, yeah, it was neat though. I mean, the acoustics are pretty good in there too. The mitt popping and balls off the bat. But yeah, we had 200 people in the stands last time, all family. So this time I think we'll have probably more scouts than that in the stands. So it'll be fun.
I was just going to ask you too, just about hitting against lefties. It looks like just if those other rotations stay in, a lot of lefty starters. Yeah. What do you feel like your approach has been against lefties as an offense so far?
It's been good. We didn't have great at-bats on Friday night of opening. I think it was the opening game of the season against their lefty. He came in and did a good job. But I feel like we've taken good swings, had good at-bats. It starts with being able to hit the ball to right center, right-handed hitters. We've had some guys. Gabe Swanson's given us some really good at-bats against the lefties. Karen's had a great approach. Max has had a great approach. Engholm has really improved his approach against lefties. And we can roll a whole lineup out that's right-handed. So if we're dialed into what we're trying to get accomplished, the guys kind of feed off each other that way, and we can be tough to pitch to. And I feel like there were a couple good left-handers that South Alabama rolled out there. Their freshman was 90-92 in the first inning, good breaking ball. But you get them in the stretch, it's a little different. So taking your walks, hit by pitch, taking your singles can kind of set up for the 2-run homer that Josh Karen hits, and those type of things. So, yeah, I think the approach has been good. We just need to stay locked into it.
Is it early season pitchers settling in, or does it seem like a lot of batters are getting hit by pitches both ways? It
has seemed like we've had a lot of hit by pitches on both sides. We had 11 last Friday night, and that's pretty rare. Maybe teams are trying to pitch. I know teams are trying to pitch us more inside, I feel like, than they have in the past, just because we've done a good job of covering the plate, and we've got some strong physical guys in the lineup. But yeah, it does seem like I don't know what the reason is, other than I don't know. Home runs are up. You know, pitching inside, you gotta be able to do that to get some guys uncomfortable. So
Your guys' power early on, I mean, has that kind of been what you expected it would be at this point, or is that
that's what I hoped.
a surprise?
Yeah, I thought we were going to hit for power last year. Honestly, with the group that we had, but yeah, I think we just have some physical guys in the lineup that have good approach, and so you know, get them on the barrel. I think we thought that we were going to have some guys in there that could do that. So.
Thanks, Coach.